Hey everybody, just a quick update. I am at the tail end of this sickness. It's not COVID, thankfully, but um, gonna work on two videos right now. Hopefully, they were done. One of them while I was sick, and the other before I got sick. So I should be editing those now, and hopefully they'll be up one today, the one you're watching now, and then one tomorrow. And then we'll see what happens by then. Hopefully, I'll feel better by then. But yeah, so thank you guys for just for the hiatus. I'm sorry. And thank you guys if you guys are just still sticking around. So yeah, so I'm gonna stop talking now because my voice is crapping out. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. I'm going to be doing this video fairly quickly because one, my battery's about to die, and two, I'm still fighting off a little bit of my cold, just a tiny bit. So you might see some jump cuts here and there just because I might be coughing throughout this video, so just excuse me. But I'm just in the mood right now just to do a video, so, hey, why not? And I'm going to lower the lighting a little bit here too because the light's pretty bright. So, but yeah, so we're still good. Okay, well, we're just going to jump right into this. Um, so we've talked about this before on the channel in regards to the superhero genre, the decline of such a thing. And we've kind of tracked this now for the past 2 years. I want to say 2 years on the channel. I believe, yeah, if you look back, go searching through the channel back in 2021, we've been, tracking this. And 2023 was a bit of a big example of what things are to come for this genre. And I actually believe now that 2024, actually now doing a little more research and providing some evidence, I actually think 2024 is going to be a pretty defining year for the genre. And what I mean by that is that I think that we're really going to be seeing the decline of such a genre and more of a showcase of that. And I wouldn't say the death row just yet. I think that it's still a few years out for that to happen, but it's definitely going to be more present in 2024, and I'll show you why. So we'll get into this right now because, like I said, don't know how long I have on my camera, but we're just going to attack this. So let's do it. So to do this, we have to go back to 2023 and detail the films there. And we start off, and if you notice that we have some space here, that's just because I'm going to show off some images, some posters, so you guys can see my face and all that sort of stuff. So okay, so first film that came out was Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania, that came out in February, and that bombed. So that did not perform well. Next film that came out was Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which came out in March. Also did not perform well. Nothing came out in April, so there was a gap there. Usually there's a gap there, a month gap in between the superhero type stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 came out in May, and that actually did well, turned a profit. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse did well in June. And then also the same month we had The Flash, which historically has bombed. One of the biggest bombs of all time. I think that was the biggest bomb for that company, especially. And then nothing in July. And then in August, we had Blue Beetle, which also bombed. And then we had nothing in September or October. Typically not. I mean, unless, of course, you were a Joker, which we'll talk about later. But in November, we had The Marvels, which bombed. And in December, we had Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which also bombed. So we're talking about, as I count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 superhero films, and only 2 of them did well. Only 2 of them turned a profit. Nothing from DC turned a profit. kind of sort of winners from that year were Disney and Sony. Everybody else, I mean, because Disney also had their bombs too with Ant-Man and the Marvels. Sony was like kind of the only person when you just specifically talk about that genre. Sony was the only one that really did well. I mean, Disney had its win, but also had its losses. So, so yeah, your big studios, they're like WB and Disney. They were keeping up with a regular slate and a regular quantity. They were keeping it up with like typically like 2 or 3 movies a year from each studio, and you compile that with like other studios like Sony and stuff like that. So you're looking at essentially like 10 movies a year from this genre. So now let's go to 2024 and let's see what that looks like. So we start in February, and I'm also going to give my predictions to how I think these movies are going to perform. So February we have Madam Web, this month actually, and I think this is going to bomb. I think we all know this. This is not going to do well. Everyone's panned the trailer. I've seen the trailer. It looked not too good. So yeah, I do not see that doing well. Now, something to point out is that in 2023, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania started off the year in February. So it's the same thing here with Madam Web starting the year off in February. Here's where things get different. So in 2023, we had a film in March, we had a film in May, and we had a film in June. So we had films throughout the beginning of the year. The next film that we're going to talk about in 2024 that's coming out is Deadpool 3, which comes out in July. So there's nothing in March, nothing in April, nothing in May, and nothing in June. So there's a 4-month gap in between this film, Madam Web, and what we're talking about now, Deadpool 3, which should tell you something. And talking about Deadpool 3 proper, obviously that's going to do well. We know that that'll do well. Kind of piggybacking off the same like sort of success that'll probably be with Guardians 3. It's the third of a well-established IP. Everyone likes Deadpool, and then you throw in Wolverine, so you're gonna get butts and seats. I hate that they're bringing back Wolverine, by the way. That's such a dumb idea. Logan was such a great conclusion for that character. I hate that they're trying to jeopardize that, but money talks, I guess. But yeah, so that comes out in July, and that's Disney's only film coming out this year. That is the only MCU film coming out this year. There's no other film. That's it for Disney. Everything else is either Sony or Warner Brothers. So to keep it going, Kraven the Hunter, which comes out in August, that's gonna bomb. Who the hell was wanting that? Going to October, we have Joker, Joker Folie à Deux, aka Joker 2. I probably butchered the hell out of that name, sorry. That will do well, obviously. People, still talk about that film. I don't get it, but people really like it. So that will do well. And for Warner Brothers, coming off of 2023, where all their superhero films bombed, this has to do well for them. So, and to finish off the year, we have in November Venom 3, which I don't think is going to do well. I know the other 2 films did well, but I believe they did well because they came out in very specific periods of time. Excuse me. Where either the genre was very popular at the time or going to the theater itself was very popular at the time. Because remember, when the first film came out, that was in 2018. So that was right when Infinity War came out, and all the hype surrounding the conclusion of that, So there was a lot of hype in that sort of sphere and a lot of energy towards that genre. So that's why the first film did as well, because it came out during a specific time where superheroes were just all the craze. And then the reason why the second film did well, not as well as the first one, but still turned a profit, is that came out in 2021. So we were just coming out of quarantine, and going to the theater was, it's partially the reason why inflation's so high. Like people were just like, hey, like we're finally out. Let's just do all the things. Let's go spend our money. Let's just do this and that. it's that impulse, so that's why people drove out to things like the theater and such, because they just wanted to, um, they were just getting out of quarantine and they just were looking to watch something. Um, so I just don't think Venom 3 is going to do well just because there's that decline. And also, there's no reason to see it. There's no event, there's nothing in our world that, or in this genre really, that's giving that film any merit. So yeah. So I don't think it's going to do well. So you have one, two, three, four, five, six superhero films coming out this year. One of them being from Warner Brothers, being Joker. One of them being from Disney, being Deadpool, and three of them coming from Sony. And funny enough, like if I were Sony, just looking at, also looking. I'm just keeping an eye on my camera. Um, if I were Sony, seeing as how many bombs there were in the genre last year, because there was a ton of bombs. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bombs. 6 major bombs. And that's not including just generally with 2023. 2023 was just not a good year in general. If I were Sony, I would follow in the footsteps of Disney and Warner Brothers. I might just release 1 or 2 of these tentpoles this year. But Sony is looking to dominate the market, it seems, this year. I mean, good luck. I don't know what those releases. I don't know who's going to see that stuff. Um, but as much as Disney and Warner Brothers like are showing little faith, little confidence, it's also probably the best play also right now because of just coming off of last year. It was just not a good year for either of them. So, but it presents what we've been talking about for the past 2 years. This genre is in a decline. It is going to get worse over time. And that gap period that we're seeing now in 2024, we have one coming out in February and then one coming in July. I feel like that gap's either going to be the norm or that's going to get bigger because I don't think we're going to be getting a tentpole like this per month or every 2 months. I don't think that that's going to exist come in like 4 or 5 years. I really don't think so. I think that studios are going to try their best to justify it this year or in next year. And eventually they're going to understand that, because I see the comments from some of these executives and they're just full of shit saying that, well, it's not because people are getting tired of the genre, it's because of the overall quality of said genre. Yes and no. I mean, yes, like people are getting or catching on to the fact that it's formulaic, but I think people generally speaking just don't care. I think people just are tired of seeing this stuff and they just want something different. Hence why, as I said in my 2023 recap, horror did really good. Like, horror did really good in 2023. Horror did really, really good. And it was able to surpass the superhero genre, which, when you compare it to, like 2019, superheroes were the thing. Again, mainly because of just narratively where they were. But since the pandemic came in, you can see how people returning to that genre, like the actual interest starts to show itself, and you see that it's not as significant as it used to be. And also like formulas and overall like just product, like most of the stuff that's coming out, it's like, does anyone really care? Like, they really have ran through the characters that people care about. But even then, like, recycling the same characters over and over again, it gets tiresome. Like, are you really interested in a new Superman movie? Are you really interested in another Batman movie? Like, I just don't care. Like, I really, really don't. So that's why generally I'm skipping out on the genre, because I just don't care at this point. And I see a lot of people feeling the same way. So, but this is just to illustrate again that this sort of thing is going to continue and it's going to pile up, or it's going to get worse. Like, the decline is real. It's going to continue to happen in the next few years. And this gap period that 2024 is presenting, like Madam Web coming out in February and Deadpool coming out in July, I I think that that'll be the norm. I think that that's what we're gonna see coming out in a few years' time. But we'll see. I mean, as I said before, horror is the new thing. Horror is gonna be the new like the new like thing. As people say online, it's like this is the new hip thing. Like that's where people are going, and this is gonna be, as I said before, this is gonna be a thing for the 2000s, like that era of 2000s where it's like a few films came out, but not so much. I think that that's where it's going. But But you guys let me know your thoughts. Like, just do you guys think the genre is on a decline? I think it is. I've been looking at it for the past 2 years now. You can look at these previous videos if you guys want to just see what I'm referring to. And just, are you guys interested in anything coming out this year from this genre and anything else? Just let me know in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.